Hi guys, it's StephanieGrams. Welcome to my video podcast, So Sell It with Sewpreneur.com. Today is December 16th, 2022, and the topic for today is connecting with customers. So, whenever you want to connect with customers, you have to wear your business hat. And I talk about business hat, personal hat, family hats all the time. So you can just go through the playlist and look for the podcast talking about all those different things. So I won't recap all of that right now. But when you are going to connect with a customer, you have to kind of have that boss hat on. And you have to remember that you're a business owner and you have some goods and services that you want to provide to your customer. Now, whenever you want to connect with your customer, you need to remember who your customer is. Is it male or female? Does it matter? Are they college students, new parents, retirees? Are they grandparents, aunts and uncles? Think about who your customer is and what memory bear or keepsake they want you to make for them. So keep that in mind. Some people will print off pictures of their ideal customer and put it on their marketing board. So every time they create a marketing piece, they see that visual reminder of who their customer is. I think that's very smart. That's helpful. And I also would like to say that you could include the hashtags that those customers use when they are looking for things online. All right, so moving on. Once you know that you are a business owner and you've got that boss hat on and you have that ideal customer pictured in front of you, you know the hashtags they're following, you're ready. You're ready to get some customers, right? So you can consider buying advertising on social media like Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. There's dozens of places where you can buy an ad. YouTube, you can even place ads on YouTube channels or YouTube itself. Just think about what it is you need your customer to do. Do they need to click the link to go to your website for more information? Do they need to click the link to place an order right away? Do they need to click a link just to ask you questions? Think about what it is you want your customer to do once they see your ad. All right, you can also send out a press release. Press releases are how I have grown several of my businesses. And it used to be super easy and really free, really easy and super free, and it is not that case anymore. Now, there are some ways to submit a free press release, and that would be like your local newspaper outlets, your local radio stations. Maybe you have a local magazine. Think about where your customers are and what they're watching. So YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever they're watching. What are they listening to? What other podcast radio stations? Local radio stations? National radio stations? What magazines are they looking at? Local, statewide, farm and dairy. Just kind of get an idea of where your customer is. Who already has your customer's attention, and how can your business get into that action, right? Why reinvent the wheel? Just use your available resources. Have a team member, a publicity assistant, a marketing assistant reach out to you, or I'm sorry, not reach out to you. You reach out to them and help them think about where you can reach out to your customers so they can reach out to you. Okay. Posting regularly on your own website and your social media. Some of my students do not have a website that they can post regularly on. I always recommend to use your own self-hosted website and purchase your own domain name, and then set up something like WordPress. That way you can blog on your website, and it has a dual purpose. It serves you for all kinds of reasons. For media to reach out to you, your potential customer to see your portfolio, a blog aspect that you can go in and write a post as often as you would like. All of those communications that you do, basically all your communication needs to be centered around your customer and wanting them to reach out to you, right? If that means that you post on social media and you have 5 different social media accounts: Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and whoever else I didn't mention. Make sure that your link on those social media outlets all point back to your website, and that you have a newsletter that can capture your potential customers' information. That way you have a continuous cycle of communication. That way you can communicate through your newsletter, and then they can communicate back to you through your newsletter as well. So don't just like have a generic link somewhere and then let the communication drop, because you'll constantly be spinning your wheels and not building your customer base. And, nobody's got time for that, right? Okay, moving on. Inquire about interviews. That's one thing that I love being interviewed. I am an introvert. I know I probably don't come across that way, but it has taken me 4 tapings to get this podcast out, because I tend to talk quiet and without much emotion, because I'm so worried that I'm either going to be too loud for you or not loud enough for you, or I might stumble over my words. Basically, there's a twist, there's a kind of perfectionism that introverts have, speaking personally here, where we can get in our own way. So when I say to reach out and inquire about being interviewed, that's probably the last thing that you want, right? You might not want to be interviewed, but that's really what you need, because being interviewed allows your potential customers to get to know you, like you, and trust you. And those 3 things need to take place in order for them to purchase from you, at least when it comes to memory bears and keepsakes. I can't say that about other business types, but for this type of business, because we serve such a personal level service, people need to have some type of connection with us, and what better way than to be interviewed? All right. You could volunteer in your community, because again, volunteering, although you're not making money, you are making relationships. And again, you're just showing them that they can get to know you, give them the opportunity to like you, and that way they can trust you. Once somebody gets to know you, like you, and trust you, they will then naturally share your information with strangers. That has been what happened with me and my business when it came to memory bears. People got to know certain relatives and friends of mine, and so those friends and relatives naturally just spoke about me and my services, and that gave the stranger and me a connection, and they felt safe that they could trust me with their items of clothing. So again, volunteering is definitely a great way to build your circle. Also, you can sponsor events, church groups, sports teams, youth outreach. If you are a business owner, which I hope that you are legally now, I'll use me as an excuse. I own an LLC. So I want to be able to take some of my budgeting money from the LLC and reinvest that into my community by sponsoring local causes and events. So again, usually whenever you, or your company, I should say, when your company sponsors an event or a fundraiser or some type of cause, you can get your business information in print on flyers or the programs, the little booklets that they hand out. And that in turn can also help people get to know you, like you, and trust you. Be sure to keep notes. One thing that we do during my Plan Your Year in 4 Weeks program is we write notes constantly. We're adding and expanding on your here and now goals, but also in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. One thing as a business owner you want to do is to make sure that you always have fresh contacts, potential customers, always coming into the funnel of your business. You don't want to become stagnant. You want to be able to get to the place where your customers speak highly of you, and that is, word of mouth marketing. And again, that word of mouth marketing helps potential customers, which are essentially strangers, right? I mean, let's be honest, they don't know you, you don't know them, therefore you're strangers. And word of mouth marketing will kind of bridge that gap for you and that stranger. And you want to always have this bridge of new connections coming. You want to always be able to communicate back and forth between you and your services and your customer, past customers, potential customers. You want to be able to bridge that communication gap. And all of these tips that I just gave you, these are all ways to do that. So just to recap, we have advertising, press releases, posting regularly to your social media, on your website, obtain interviews with podcasts or your local news, volunteer in your community, your church, sponsor local causes or events. Always make sure that when you do all of these, or any of them, one or all or a combination, that you're always thinking about your customer, your ideal customer, and who they are, what they watch, what they listen to, where they worship, where do they shop, what do they read, who are their friends, do you have mutual connections? How can you provide a special sewing service to that person? In closing, I hope today's video podcast was useful and inspiring. Please consider subscribing to my channel, ring the bell for notifications, get on the free newsletter at Sewpreneur.com. There's links beneath this video. And as always, stay safe and have a great day. Signing off, this is StephanieGrams, Sewpreneur.com.